I went through like a fucking terrible health event. I was coming down off of what I assumed to be COVID, so I quarantined in my house, and I was like out of commission for like a week. And then I was watching Simply play Elden Ring for the first time ever, and it was really fun. So then once I was like back to being like a normal human being, I was like, oh, I kind of want to play that game again. Because in the past, I tried playing it, but the RPG elements are a lot for my tiny brain. But this time I went into it wanting to do a specific build, and I actually enjoyed it a lot, beat the game. And then ever since then, it's like a switch flipped in my brain, and I've just been playing story-based games. So after I beat Elden Ring, I played Baldur's Gate 3 when that came out. Then when I beat my first run of Baldur's Gate 3, I played and beat Sekiro for the first time, which is a really good game. And then I've just recently finished Baldur's Gate 3 in my Dark Urge run. That was a lot of fun. I have 300 hours in the game now. And now I'm gonna play Twink Souls, aka Pinocchio Souls, aka Lies of P, aka Pushin' P. That'll be fun, hopefully. And then after that, I'm either gonna play Divinity Original Sin 2 or Cyberpunk 2077, which is all to say that I actually give a shit about story-based games again. And it's kind of cool. Baldur's Gate 3 YouTuber. I wish I could be a video game YouTuber. I don't know how to do it though. Like, I even try to think about like, oh, well, what if I did video game reviews on stream? But I can't even like conceptualize how I would do that. I feel like I would need to write a script, because otherwise it would be like a fucking rambling mess like all my other shit. Because I know enough about politics, and I know enough about how my own rhetorical style and the way I want to talk about things when it comes to politics, because I think about it a lot. But when it comes to video games, I actually haven't thought hard about video games in a long time until like now. Because for so long, video games for me was just multiplayer shit. It was hard for me to actually give a shit about single-player video games, mostly because of depression, and also I like multiplayer video games. But it was hard for me to care about like story-based video games. So I would be playing League of Legends, regrettably. Unfortunately, it almost ruined my life. I've talked about this before, in like a real way, not even joking. Video game addiction is real. Get help if you think that you have an issue with that. And then I'd be playing Rocket League, which I still play to this day, and I still like it a lot. Good-ass game. Got Champion last season. Come at me. Solo queue 2v2, 3v3. Stuff like that. CS Joe. Now CS2, but I haven't played CS2. So, like, I really like competitive video games. And that's all I would play. But I never really played a game with an ending. Like a story-based game. And that used to be what I would do, right? Because that used to be all there was. My first video game was Super Mario Bros. On the NES. And then Super Mario 64. And a bunch of other shit that I don't remember as much. And then at some point, I stopped playing story-based games. Once I got my own PC, I got Steam, all this kind of shit. My first like online multiplayer game, I think, was TF2. Out of the orange box, which I still have. For any of the old heads out there, you also got Portal, Half-Life. It was poggers. And yeah, and I found multiplayer video games very interesting. And then eventually my interest in story-based games waned for a long time. And I assume a lot of that is depression. Because I just like can't find the mental energy to care enough about a story to keep me engaged. Could also be ADHD shit. But now, modern day conure, modern day canoe, I'm off the bean being sertraline. I'm a certified freak now. And that's an anti-anxiety, SSRI, anti-depression med. And it's actually pretty good. It fucks with your tummy. You know, I'm gulping sea monkeys, my tummy feel crazy. And that goes away after time. But like in terms of like the antidepressant effects, it's actually pretty pog. I'm a big fan so far. And it's helped me just generally enjoy things more. And I'm a lot more talkative, especially in person. Maybe to the detriment of the people around me, because I'm annoying as fuck, and I fear that's how I always was, and it was just being contained by my depression. It was pretty good. And now I think that's why I've been enjoying video games again. Because I went through like a fucking terrible health event, which I talked about in the past. That's why I have the one video on the racist history of public pools where I was a frog. I was my little conure sit, peepo sit, PNG tube avatar. That's because, you know, I was going through some shit. It was a whole confluence of bullshit. Essentially, I don't know exactly what it was. I was coming down off of what I assumed to be COVID. I didn't end up getting tested because I'm stupid as hell. However, I didn't go anywhere. Everybody in the house had it already, so I quarantined in my house, but I didn't go anywhere, so I wasn't going to spread it to anybody if it was. But I should have gotten tested anyway, just to know. Regardless, I had a post-viral cough after that, and I was nursing that. Then I ate a bad protein bar, and it tasted weird, and it might have had tree nuts in it, even though it's not supposed to. On the packaging, it says it's processed in the same plant. And I ended up eating all of it, and then I ended up feeling like the allergic reaction thing, which also fucked with my breathing. It was like, it wasn't deathly, but it was enough. And then that triggered like an anxiety panic attack. I also got bit by Artemy. He didn't mean to. He was just riled up because he's dumb, and he kind of bit me too hard. But normally he's chill. And even if we play fight, he's fine. And I'm allergic to cats, so I was worried about that because, you know, it was itchy and whatnot. So there was just a whole bunch of shit that just caused me to have a mental break. And I was like out of commission for like a week or more. And then I was watching Simply play Elden Ring for the first time ever. at one point, and it was really fun. So then once I was like back to being like a normal human being, my roommates really came through for me in that time, which I really appreciate. It's always good to have good friends if you have them, chat. Yeah. What am I saying? I got distracted by my love for my friends. Oh yeah, I started watching Simply playing Elden Ring, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to play that game again. Because in the past, I tried playing it, but the RPG elements are a lot for my tiny brain. But this time I went into it wanting to do a specific build, that being Faith, Strength, Dex, Godslayer's Greatsword build. And I actually enjoyed it a lot, beat the game. And then ever since then, it's like a switch flipped in my brain. And I've just been playing story-based games. So after I beat Elden Ring, I played Baldur's Gate 3 when that came out. And then when I beat my first run of Baldur's Gate 3, I played and beat Sekiro for the first time, which is a really good game, and I'm a big fan of it, and I like it better than Elden Ring. And I want another game with those mechanics from FromSoft. Would be quite poggers. And then I just recently finished Baldur's Gate 3 in my Dark Urge run on Tactician. That was a lot of fun. I have 300 hours in the game now. And now I'm going to play Twink Souls, aka Pinocchio Souls, aka Lies of P, aka Pushin' P. That'll be fun, hopefully. And then after that, I'm either going to play Divinity Original Sin 2 or Cyberpunk 2077, which is all to say that I actually give a shit about story-based games again. And it's kind of cool. I don't know how the fuck we got here in this conversation. Did you play The Last of Us? No, I don't have a console for that. Oh yeah, so we got here because Orson was like, BG3 YouTuber rebrand. Like, I don't know how to make video game content for YouTube. Oh yeah, it did get ported to PC, didn't it? Well, maybe I'll play it at some point. I've watched so many playthroughs of Last of Us, I feel like I wouldn't really need to play it. I don't care enough about it to play it myself, because I've seen so many playthroughs. But it might happen at some point. But yeah, when it comes to making videos about video games, I would never like do gameplay in a YouTube video, because my YouTube channel is just not for that. People expect me talking, specifically about politics usually, because all the videos that aren't about politics never do as well, such as life. So when it comes to doing video game reviews and just talking like that, I feel like I could do that, and it wouldn't be as popular on my channel, but maybe some people would like it. Maybe some new people come in, the whole deal. But I just don't know how to do that. I don't know where to start, because I'm kind of new, again, to video games that I could review in that way. Because, like, back when I was playing fucking League, I was no-lifing League or Rocket League or whatever, like, there's only so much I could say about that game, and it's not as intrinsically interesting as a story-based game might be, especially to people who haven't played the game or don't care to. So reviewing a story-based game works, because if a person's not going to play the game and has no interest in it, they can learn about the game that way, and it's a narrative, usually, so it's interesting to people more than, car, fly, hit ball, put in net, you know what I mean? But, like, I feel like I would have to take notes while playing, because I forget a whole lot about what I'm thinking about each individual game when I play it. And that's just, like, a different kind of playing the game at that point. So, I don't know. And I feel like I'd have to write a script, and I'd have to be all prepared, and I just don't have the mental energy to do that much prep. I started my YouTube channel off with video essay prepared content. Never again. That's just a lot of fucking work. But yeah, so that I don't know. It was a meme when you said BG3 YouTuber or whatever. But still, that's my take. Baldur's Gate 3 is a good game, though. Should get Game of the Year. If any other game gets it, it's a fucking joke. Tears of the Kingdom is just Breath of the Wild DLC. Armored Core 6 is too niche. Starfield is a fucking laughingstock. Yeah, I didn't even finish Tears of the Kingdom. I played a lot of it. I put a lot of hours in, but I didn't even care to finish it. I got bored. It's just very tedious at a certain point. The fact that Tears of the Kingdom, they didn't do much with the underworld is insane to me. Like, you have all kinds of different biomes in the above ground world, which is really cool and interesting. And then, I forget what they call it, but the underworld is just the same shit every time. It's just, like, super boring. I don't know why they didn't make, like, different biomes underground. It just seemed like a procedurally generated, like, time padding mechanism to make the game feel bigger than it actually is. Very wide game, but not very deep. Like, the above ground shit was pretty cool. And, like, the shrine, there are some shrines that stood out to me as, like, really fun, but a lot of them were just, like, busy work. I don't know. I just don't think a game like that needs to, and, like, traveling in that game is some bullshit. The fact that you have to go to a stable to get a horse and all this kind, it's so insane to me. Like, you can't just, like, blow a whistle and the horse shows up. It's fucking Legend of Zelda. Why the hell do we have, like, I can understand having the stables as, like, checkpoints and stuff. And it's so easy to lose the horse. Yeah, it's fucking annoying. So, like, I'm just never using the horse to get around, so the fastest way to get around outside of making vehicles is going to a really high point, jumping off and gliding. And that's boring and tedious. A lot of people thought the underground was the best part about not being Breath of the Wild again, meaning like it was the biggest addition that made it not feel as much like Breath of the Wild. I don't know. The underground was very boring to me after getting there the first hour or two, because it's just always the same. Everywhere you go in the underworld is the same, except for around the fucking mountain whose name I forget. What is it, Mount Doom? And it's hot there. And like there's some structures you can find, but a lot of the structures are copy-pasted as well. Oh yeah, that's not even to mention the fucking Sky Islands, which are literally copy-pasted. Like, you will find identical ones. It's insane. There's just too much ambition to the game, and they can't deliver on it. So in order to cut corners, it just feels like padding. And at that point, why have the padding? Anyway. Tears of the Kingdom should not win Game of the Year. And if it does, it's because it's Nintendo and it's a popularity contest. And that's an indictment on the games industry. And, you know, award shows like that are almost always popularity contests and not based on the objective merits of video game design and gameplay. And narrative storytelling should it be applicable. So, I mean, it's entirely possible it does happen. But Baldur's Gate 3 should absolutely win. It's an insanely dense game. Like, player choice actually matters, which is rare for an RPG. The voice acting is very good. The narrative is pretty cool. Obviously, there's some bugs in the game. There are some gripes that I have with the storylines and a bunch of stuff related to it, but they're pretty small criticisms. And it's a really niche gaming format, a CRPG, turn-based, top-down group strategy game. And it's gotten, like, massive popularity, and a lot of people who would otherwise not even touch a game like that actually playing it. I don't think Tears of the Kingdom did that. I don't think Tears of the Kingdom enfranchised a whole bunch of new players into a genre of video game that weren't otherwise going to play it because of how interesting the characters are, because of how interesting the story is, because of how much people care about the game and are willing to talk about it online. I don't really like the vibe of the building myself. It slows things down so much. Yeah, I don't like it either. Even once you get, like, the auto-build thing, which is not even entirely clear where to get it. I just didn't have it for a while either, which gave me, like, a worse impression. Maybe I missed, like, a dialogue or something, but for some reason when I look at Baldur's Gate 3 on YouTube, it only gives me incel hater results. That's because it's a woke game and it's doing really well. It's a game that has queer people in it. It's a game that has black and brown people in it. It's a D&D game, and all the satanic panic shit that's had a resurgence recently, they're going to be mad and triggered about that shit because they think the devil is actually a real thing. And God is real as well, and that there's a heaven and hell in the year of our Lord 2023 in current day. There's fucking pronouns. So they're just mad that a woke game isn't going broke. It's actually doing incredibly well. That's all. Tears of the Kingdom was a legit 10/10 for the first 10 hours. The moment I started to realize what was in the game, mixed with awful shine cutscenes, my enjoyment dropped. Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking... Sorry, I was casting a spell. I don't remember much screeching when Cyberpunk having trans characters when it came out. Well, yeah, that's because... I don't think there is a justification for that from the right. I know they did get mad about the fact that you can have a feminine character have a penis. And there were, like, some people on the left who were mad about that one poster advertisement within the game that said mix it up, and it had a picture of a feminine person with a large penis bulge, and that was silly. I don't know. Anyway, Baldur's Gate good. Play it.